Greetings, Taekwondo family. Welcome once again to Miami Minutes, the show that serves up slices of cinematic salami every week. I am one of your hosts, John Parker.
I was trying to, in my mind, going through the minutes. Like, is there salami in this minute?
There is.
I think vocally. Salami.
Yeah.
Like, vocal salami. I was like, did I feed some to Angelo? I was like, no, but anywho, I am also here, dangling from the girder that is this show. It is me, Niall McGann.
Back once again. You can't get rid of us. 62 minutes and counting, baby.
It's a generational thing. As soon as you say the words "back once again," in my mind instantly fills in. It's the Renegade Masters.
Yeah.
People. It's like, I haven't heard that song in at least 20 years. But There it is. It still lingers. Like, even though I hated it back then.
But you can't not think of it. I'm the same.
Yeah. The same with the Run DMC versus Master J. If anyone mentions breakdancing, you're like, you remember the Run DMC video? It's like, yeah, of course. If it's a person of a certain age, they're like, of course I remember it. I existed at the time.
I think this is the second week in a row we've talked about that, isn't it?
I will do it again.
We're going to do it. That's going to be our mission now, listeners. Every week we're going to get Run DMC on the show. Literally, they're going to be guests coming up next time.
You know, we actually lived in Miami. We don't care about that. We're just here to talk about that one.
This is minute 62, as I sort of alluded to there. The minute starts with 3 punks a pervin, and it ends with twin dragons adorning.
Yeah, it's almost an insult to the punk community to refer to these.
Yeah, that's why I mean it in that weird American way. Oh, you punk.
Yeah. Well, I'm assuming that's where the term originally. I know you'll be much more knowledgeable about this, John, because you are a punk aficionado. But I always took it to mean that, like, they took it. People back in like the 50s would have called it like a punk was like, oh, this real asshole, lazy,
like a scumbag.
ne'er do well, and then the punk movement embraced that as like, yeah, what of it? That kind of.
It's basically that. Yeah. Although people argue like that they don't really know where it came. Like, it just started getting used for some reason. Nobody really knows. But it's definitely that. There's no other reason you'd use that word.
It's just gonna be like one of those weird things when, like, for years I was like, oh yeah, like goth is a movement, is a musical movement and as a style, and then find out like, no, there was a goth like army and stuff back in the day.
Yeah, there were people.
The goth. And for like, what? Does that have anything to do with that? I was like, well, do you want to get into the history of this? It gets very convoluted and stuff.
Yeah, the Goths. Didn't the Romans fight the Goths?
Yeah,
or the Germans? The first, I don't know. Someone fought them.
That was the first Gothic romance.
Oh, love it. But yes, we are back as the ogling continues unabated.
Again, it's still like, because there is a vague underlying threat to the ogling as well.
Oh yeah. And it doesn't feel like they're just being pervy. If you were anyone other than Jeff's sister, you would assume you're going to be assaulted.
Yeah. Oh, these are guys you would literally like. I would cross the street to avoid them because they look like scumbags. Oh, and then if you're a woman, you would like leave town to avoid them. I think.
Well, you're 100% right though. You would have to cross the street because these are the exact type of guys that if you walked past them, just going down the road, they would say something to you for no reason whatsoever.
Yeah, and it wouldn't be witty.
No.
There's no, like, as I was saying, like, I wouldn't mind people hurling insults in the street to you if they had a bit of, like, intelligence to them. But the thing is, the people who hurl insults at you in the street aren't intelligent people.
No, they wouldn't be doing it in the first place.
Yeah, so they don't have anything. They don't have any wit. they just have to be like, you're wearing a hat.
Nice shoes. Yeah, I know. That's why I bought them.
Yeah. And again, this thing, we'll get to the salami thing, where it's like, no. And again, it's just like, that actor improv that, so it's like, and he kind of indicated to the guy, you're supposed to laugh at this. And Kid Rock's just like, oh, yeah, looking great, I guess. Yeah.
That, Jesus Christ. We're going to get to that in a second. But first off, let's start the episode again with a drink, people, because topless Kid Rock once more, so we might as well get... I think it's more fun to have a drink at the beginning anyway. Then you enjoy the show more.
loosening up our tongues with a drink here.
Exactly, And loosening up your earlobes, to get our wonderful voices to slide down easy.
Yeah.
What a great image I've just put in your head.
Well, but Yeah, and Jane again. Like I'm convinced. Like she's strutting out in disgust because she's seen what they did to Tom, and then
Well, hang on. So, something in your favor, right? Something in your favor with that is because I wrote this set of notes before we recorded last week.
Yeah.
So we hadn't had this discussion. So my note was saying I was a bit confused about how, she didn't look very hard for him. Because remember, I'm coming from an angle of she couldn't see him. Mm. So I was thinking, well, she didn't look very bloody hard.
Didn't even check behind the sofa. You could be
well, that's the thing. She looked
the side
in
of the cushions.
Room.
You can, if you lose your Tom, it can show up anyway.
So maybe that is evidence for you. In that she literally just looked in that one room. Maybe she did see him, and that's why she's just like, oh.
No, that's it. That's definitely, in my mind, that's definitely what it is. And then, like, as we see kind of at the tail end of the minute, there's a car shows up, and it's like, well, she's, even though, again, as we probably addressed last week, just like, you don't really need the scene because Dragon's are going to be like, unless there had to be a thing where maybe this is it actually, because they know like, oh yeah, Jeff doesn't like us, but no, they already knew about the team up between Dexys and Jeff. So no, it doesn't. These two scenes do not need. Well, I say the one scene that's just split over 2 minutes does not need to exist.
Not at all. No,
unless they just get you to hate these guys more because like. Just all this crap of like the Floyd getting down on his knee as she goes past and like putting his hand to his heart and stuff like, oh, I'm in love and all. It's like just these guys.
Could they have just done this exact stuff though? Because spoiler alert, people. The next scene that we get is at the what is it, like a quarry? whatever this is. And couldn't they have just done it there with like just a different woman?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, there's no reason to. Unless it just like Jane was contracted for one more scene or something. It's like, oh, we guaranteed her 7 minutes and 30 seconds of screen time, so we have to make up 15 of those.
Well, they noticed that the movie was running under, so like, oh, we need to add something. I don't know. Throw this in. Be like Dark Place, where he adds slow motion all the time because the episodes were running like 8 minutes under.
It's like, some say that the 90% of Miami Connection was slow motion.
We tried to keep the slow motion away from the dialogue where possible.
But any scene with that dialogue was considered for slow motion.
It's fucking genius.
But that's the thing, again, though, with these guys. Like, because I have seen people like this. And they always give off scumbaggy vibe. Mm-hmm. But you wonder, like, when they're sitting watching movies like this themselves, do they never go, oh, that's me? Or do they think, oh, those guys are cool?
Wait, the characters thinking that, not the actors?
No, I mean, like, people in real life who are, like, sleazy, like, wolflessly,
okay.
Kind of, just guys who just, give off that scumbag aura and do things like what these guys are doing when they're at home. And they see this, and it's clear that the movie is trying to, like, villainize them. Do they not realize that it's, that this is villainous? Or are they like, oh, I get it. I'm on these guys' side.
I think they find it funny, because they're like, oh, yeah, I'd be doing the same.
Well, people, John.
Yeah, I just hate them. I hate people.
Yeah. But,
No, but we do get... Right. We get the bit we've briefly talked about, and I'm baffled. I've tried to... I don't think I ever really heard it before, and I've tried to parse what I'm hearing. When he says to her, salami. And I'm like, what? Why does he say salami?
I guess that maybe he's trying to... I would assume it's like it's a phallic illusion. Like he's trying to make her, think of salami, and then people use sausage, wiener, all that kind of stuff.
But he's literally just saying the word salami. It's bizarre.
I think it's again, it's an improv. It's just that the guy's not very good. But I'm fairly certain it must just be like, because also as well, like I had to double take it because I was like, is he saying so long?
Yeah, I had to put the subtitles on because I was like, well, he's not saying salami. There's no way he's saying that. Yes,
it is. Turn out it be. It couldn't be, but it be.
The only other thing I could think of, because I had a similar thought. I was like, well, it could be like he's trying to be sexual. But my other thought that came to mind, and I don't want to sound big-headed, but I think I might be onto something, is that he is jokingly saying sayonara.
Oh.
Because it's as she's walking away, and he does like a little bow.
I see.
And he's being a bit racist as well. Because
I guess he's got they have a whole thing against, like, because they hate Dragon Sound because they're into martial arts and stuff too. And so, like, sayonara being a Japanese term, martial arts, maybe he's doing a mockery of Dragon Sound as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I'll accept, I'll adopt that as headcanon, that's what he's doing.
It's gotta be that. But otherwise, it's still stupid.
I think that I wouldn't mind if it was more obvious that's what he was doing.
Yeah.
But the fact that we've had to discuss it for the last 3 minutes is an indication that it doesn't work as a joke.
Yeah, you would assume that in the editing process of the movie, someone would be like, yeah, you've got to think about this too much. Like, let's get rid of that.
Yeah. I mean, if he did it to, like, Mark, and he did, like, an elaborate bow or something, then I would get it. But now it is kind of like, is he doing, like, an allusion to his dick or something? Like, salami? Because they're all sort of sleazing on her, and then to be like, unless he meant it, like, the actor in his mind was going to be like, you care for a slice, or you want to suck on my salami? He was going to say something like that. And it only came out as salami.
Well, that's the thing. I could accept him meaning it as his dick if he was asking it like a question. If he went salami, you'd be like, okay, I get what you're doing. It's stupid, but I get it. I think he's doing like a racist sayonara thing.
No, I would accept that. Yeah, because it's it would have been. Particularly after, like, the Turtles and stuff came out, although I guess that's the next year, when that cartoon started, sayonara and all that kind of stuff was very much in the, I guess, because you had Bart Simpson mere 2 years later or whatever.
Yeah.
Coming out with, like, sayonara all the time. It's like, so I think it must have been just in the popular vernacular at the time.
That's the thing. Yeah, although also making it slightly even more racist is the fact that you don't really say sayonara very much in Japanese. It's not the normal, like, way of saying goodbye.
Yeah.
It's more like a super formal, like, I may never see you ever again in my life kind of thing. Like,
maybe that's why he's like, I was going to say sayonara. But also, actually, what we don't realize, John, is that actually salami in Japan actually does mean I hope to see you later.
Oh, that's exactly what it means. Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, what is that in Japanese? I'm trying to think. I know what, like, see you tomorrow is. That's mata ashita. Mata ashita. Which I believe, if I'm remembering, means literally it means like again tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then bye, like informal, that's jane. But you can't really make any sausage jokes out of these.
The greatest use of sayonara in the universe, anyway, I think why it fell out of popular vernacular was because people realized you can't beat this. Is, of course, in Con Air, when those guys try to steal the other plane to abandon, like, half the convicts.
Yeah.
And then they crash, and then the guy comes out of the plane crash covered in petrol. And John Malkovich, Cyrus the Virus, comes up with a cigarette. And the guy goes to him, "Sigh!" And then Malkovich goes, "Anara," and throws the cigarette and then lights the guy on fire.
I forgot about that.
I think I saw that when I was 10. It was just like, whoa, I didn't know you could do that. Like, that's great. Wordplay. Even though now, like, at the time, it seemed amazing. It's like, that's the most convoluted bullshit. Did you just call... Although maybe that's the thing, too. They realized, like, did you just call him Cyrus because you wanted to rhyme it with the virus?
Yeah, probably.
And then realized, or maybe they were, like, really working backwards. It was like, no, have you had a guy... I had this idea for a scene of a guy saying "Psy" to, like, sue someone called Psy, and then the other guy going "Anora," and then they're like, "Oh, we can work this, and we can backwards engineer this. Then we have a movie right there." But
as everything ties back to wrestling, there was a wrestling manager called Cyrus the Virus once.
Really?
Yeah, and I was like, you can't do that.
To be fair though, wrestling itself. Although, did he come prior to Con Air or?
No, it'd be after, I think, because he was called that in it was like around 99.
Oh no, yeah, Con Air's 97, so it's well, to be fair, like it's not as if wrestling's above just outright swiping.
No, but you at least usually like twist it. That's just like no. He's called Cyrus the Virus. Like, what?
I mean, I'm still as bugged that there's a guy called Sting. It's like there's a Sting. Everybody knows Sting. Like
That is weird, to be fair, because I'm assuming. Let me think off the top of my head. The musician's probably been Sting longer.
No, he's been Sting since like 1980 probably.
Although he used to get called Sting. He wasn't performing at the time, but I think he got called Sting in like 76.
Like Sting, are we talking about the wrestler?
No, the musician.
Yeah.
Regardless of where Tom was, like no matter what, if he was there, if he wasn't there, blah blah blah. We then cut to that other scene we were talking about, and he's apparently about to be crucified.
Yeah, I don't know if he's been like hung up. Well, before we cut away. Like, actually, now, rewatching the clip, too, Vader does do two kind of, like, bows.
Yes.
I think you're really on to... Yeah, I think that salami thing, the sayonara is what... I'm going to accept that as that's what he's going... But then he also does this little thing with his arm afterwards, which I'm guessing is that's definitely an allusion to his penis, though. Because he does it kind of, the arm, like, popping up and kind of wobbling, as if he's talking about, like, a kind of... You know, in Beavis and Butthead, they do like a boing, 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 like the...
Yeah, maybe he's saying she's made me hard.
Yeah. But again, so maybe it is something about the salami thing is something about it. Maybe it is something about But it feels like, yeah, he's doing a thing, like it's a pre-Wayne's world. So had it been post, he would have just gone like, swing. But back then they didn't have it, so they just had to be like, this arm thing. That's... Like, she's hot, so I got a boner or something.
I'm going to have to start doing this, because I do still to this day say schwing.
Oh,
and I don't know whether that's fun and cute and cool, or a bit, like, sexist or something.
No, I think swing. So I think it's okay. It's okay. I think that people are accepting that it's the most lighthearted of that kind of allusion to.
Yeah, it's got a bit of fun sort of play to it.
It's not quite as aggressive of like American listeners might not be aware, but used to have the British game show Shooting Stars,
yeah.
And like one of the recurring bits is like they get like a female guest on. And then one of the hosts, Vic Reeves, would just like go over and start like rubbing his legs in front of him, going like, "Oh yeah."
He rubs his thighs, doesn't he? All like a perv.
And like probably like get up on top of the table and like the thought, but it was all a joke. Like it's the joke of it being like horrifically inappropriate. This is. But also now I don't think you'd do that because people will be like, you could genuinely be making the female guest very uncomfortable.
I do it in the band. I have a song where I do that.
Yeah, but if you're not doing it like to one woman in particular.
No, I tend to run around doing it to different people, so I don't make one person feel
I think that's but I'm assuming the people on Shooting Stars too were aware that like, no, it's all in fun. But still, you might have a thing in the back of your mind like, maybe Vic Reeves is perving on me. I don't know. Like,
I think he maybe was with Ulrika, but
But anyhow, so yes. Cutting to the sacrificial lamb that is Tom.
It's very biblical. This moment, isn't it? It's almost like a cross he's on.
Yeah. I think maybe if they did this because like maybe they planned to have him on a cross, and then they're like, we don't know how long we're going to be filming for, and like the actual, if you put him up there for too long, he actually will end up getting crucified. So it's fun, if he's up there for several hours, like, well, the whole process of crucifixion is that your lungs start to collapse and stuff. It's not just you die of starvation. It's like, no, it's having your arms outstretched will destroy your chest eventually.
And it's slow. It's horrible. What a fucked up world we've come from. Like all of us listeners. Why if you're gonna kill people, which is wrong anyway in my eyes, why are you doing it slow?
Oh, okay, well, I guess the whole point of the crucifixion was like it's a show. It's it's an indication of like, look at these people in the wrong they've done. Look at them and what they're going through, and then think if you do wrong, the same thing will happen to you. So it's kind of like they probably did like beheadings and stuff, and they're like, well, you put a skull up on a stick. People get the idea, but it's losing its impact over time.
You got to up the ante.
Yeah, so then you have to be like, well, this guy people getting crucified, and then like people walking past them will hear them like, screaming in pain and just like praying for death and stuff. It's like, there you go, look how horrible it is.
That's so messed up, isn't it? Holy shit! Fucking hell.
I was wondering though, like, because I know when they filmed, The Life of Brian, Monty Python's Life of Brian. Like there's you can see during the ending crucifixion bit that John Cleese has a blanket wrapped around him.
Yeah.
Because he was just like, no, I'm not doing it. Like he was so angry about having to get up on the cross anyway. And then he's like, it's freezing out here. Everyone else is like, no, you have to do it. He's like, no, I'm not doing it. You will wrap a blanket around me.
I kind of respect that.
Oh, totally. There's no other reason you could have just had like, whatever. They're just, I guess maybe they're like, no, because, Jesus is usually pretty, usually borderline naked. And in the classic imagery, people would question why Graham Chapman has a blanket wrapped around him the whole time.
Yeah. I think we're used to him just wearing like a little loincloth kind of thing for that scene. That moment,
Yeah, I remember. My secondary school did a production of Jesus Christ Superstar.
Hey,
I know when they whatever some freaking poor 17-year-old kid had to get up, and yeah, he was in a blanket when he was up on stage to hide his modesty, I think. But they did do a photo shoot with him in the classic, loincloth, just to be like, look, that's what it's supposed to look like. But also, parents coming in here, we don't. This kid might be a bit embarrassed by. He's not like it's fair enough doing it on Broadway or something where you're like, 30-year-old or whatever.
No, I hope this school production had a very long scene of him being whipped.
It did.
Oh, it did.
That's part of the whole Jesus Christ Superstar shit. That's just some weird thing in the 70s where they're like, what if the Bible but funky?
Yeah.
So you had that and Godspell at the same time. And they're like, are people, is this converting anybody, or they just like the songs?
I think it's that. I mean, I like the songs. I'm not religious in any way, but there's some fucking bangers in that.
Another time I think of that kind of thing, I always think of in South Park, they had Faith Plus One. Was Cartman's Christian rock band he put together. And they get the little bit of them like playing, the string of songs they have. And just one of them is just called it's just Cartman going like, whenever I see Jesus up in that cross, I can't help but think that he looks kind of hot. Just like, and all the songs are, but like, he misses the point of like loving Jesus into like being in love with Jesus.
Yeah, he wants him.
Yeah. Wanted to feel his warm salvation all over my face.
Well, it's like that as well, that Steve Coogan movie. What was it called? Hamlet 2.
Oh, yeah.
Which I actually liked. Nobody else seemed to like it. I thought it was good. Because he writes Jesus into Hamlet. And he's sexy Jesus. It's a great song. It's just, come and rock me, sexy Jesus. And he's wearing these jeans and everything.
Well, they always do make Jesus very, like, beautiful. That's the thing. Because I remember then they had in the early 2000s, the BBC commissioned, this whole series about looking into, like, what if it really happened? And all this kind of stuff. And they put together, like, judging by skull fragments from people who were alive at the time, they're like, well, he's not going to look like a Raphaelite painting.
No.
So they put together like, well, this is what the average Jewish man looked like back in this day, and frizzy hair and all that sort of stuff. And he just looked like Telly Savalas in like a wig.
Oh, I would love it if we found out A, Jesus was real, and B, he looked like Telly Savalas.
Just up in the cross with the lollipop, just like, who loves you, baby?
Jesus loves you, baby.
But like, no offense to Telly Savalas, because I'm sure he does it for some people. But like, I think then a lot of the time over the years, it's like, no, you have to make him look beautiful and angelic. And it's like, not like Telly Savalas does not look beautiful and angelic.
Not in the conventional sense. No.
And of course, then there will just be a general anti-Semitic vibe too. It's just like, it gets less Jewish looking as the years go by.
Yeah, strange that, isn't it? I wonder why.
Seems that it sort of becomes a lot whiter and a lot less and a lot more goyish as the times go by.
Turns into a long-haired, ripped Italian man.
Yeah.
Very ripped, which is insane to me, because I don't think Jesus was like, going to the gym.
No, well, leave out all the gaps in that Bible. Maybe that was part of his whole thing. It's like, oh no, there's the P90X routine he had the apostles on and stuff every morning.
Well, that's the thing with Tom here. He's got a realistic physique.
He does. And he's no shy 17-year-old in St. Coleman's High School. He's like, no, I'll get the shirt off the whole time.
Yeah, do it, baby.
This whole past, because again, I'm assuming this is all like an intimidation technique for when dragon sounds show up. But also, I do get the kind of idea that even if Tom wasn't there, these guys would just all be hanging out, banging metal poles against things and just going,
I think that's their hobby.
Yeah. And the only person like intelligent enough to sit it out is Jeff, because he's just like, I guess I need guys. So this is the best I've got.
I suppose it's like taking your dog to the local park and you just, you let your dog off the lead and you let them run around and play with other dogs. It's like that. Jeff's the owner and he's sitting off, just letting his dogs have their fun and tiring themselves out. Keep him out of trouble later.
Yeah. But also, too, is like, is he, because Tom's quite high up and then Jeff's, is he sitting watching Tom, or is he just like?
I think he is, yeah.
Yeah. It's like, unless it's, it does have a vibe of like he's going to publicly execute him or something. Like, if not through crucifixion, it feels like he is. It's not so much just this is a lure. It's more like, oh no, I'm going to kill him as well. Like, I'm going to cut the rope and he's going to fall down and like break his neck on the ground.
That's what I thought. I was like, if they're not crucifying him, what they're going to do is basically just throw him off there.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's dark as fuck.
And also, too, I wasn't entirely sure. Because I know now that throughout the movie, there are several men who look like this.
Yeah.
But is that Dexy himself beside Jeff? Or is that just one of Dexy's Midnight Runners?
I know the one. Here we go. The one with the Kill 'Em All shirt.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that is Dexy, because he's got the hats back. Which, was part of the reason we called him Dexys in the first place. Was the tweak?
Is it Dexy who is the federal prosecutor?
Yes.
Right, okay, it is him then. Because I'll bring up my commentary track thing now, since it ties in. In the commentary track, the thing I liked was they say, that's the only federal prosecutor I've ever seen in a Kill 'Em All t-shirt. It's just fantastic. Metallica t-shirt, listeners, if you don't know.
Oh, of course, yes, yeah. The Metallica's debut. I was trying to work out so I guess Dexy's, he's hardcore, because this is way before Metallica was mainstream. This was when they were Kill 'Em All is one of their heavier albums, because it's the debut. So I guess him, although again, Ride the Lightning and stuff's already out at this point, so they're making waves. But I think it's around the time you get to Enter Sandman and stuff, then there's just Metallica becomes a massive just mainstream band that everybody loves.
Yeah.
But wearing this now, back then it's kind of no, it's almost like a little we say Dexys, but he's clearly going for an AC/DC vibe with the flat cap and the little ascot.
Well, I think we're right. I think he is Dexy, right? Because we've heard how his band essentially make music for old people. So I think this is him trying to be cool to Jeff, because Jeff's his new guy, right? So he's like, well, I'm gonna. What music are they listening to? I'll go buy a t-shirt. And I'll put that on, and he'll think I'm cool.
Yeah, it was Jeff came around to his house, and he had to quickly hide all his Jean-Michel Jarre LPs and stuff. Throw out all his Phil Collins. It's like, oh Christ!
It feels very try hard, doesn't it?
It does. Maybe he's just I want to show that I'm cool and hardcore, and so he just went out and bought the first T-shirt that he could find, and it's just kill them all. Yeah, that'll scare everybody. Right?
Jeff will resonate with the message.
And then someone tries to talk to him about what's your favorite album? Or what's your favorite track on that? And he's like, track? What are you talking about?
Name 3 songs.
Yeah, that's the thing. Oh, maybe Dexys was the original victim of the Name 3 songs. Because those guys too are Jeff's crew are assholes. They definitely would be the Name 3 songs type.
1,000%. Yeah. I'm always in the middle on that, because don't ever gatekeep people. No, don't do it. But it is also a bit weird that somebody would wear a Ramones t-shirt and not know the Ramones.
Yeah, the Ramones in particular are it's just become, it might as well say Gucci or something. It's it's not that it's as high end as Gucci, but it has that thing of it's just a name that's on a t-shirt now.
It's better than Gucci.
But it doesn't have any of the, and I'm the same way. It's no, you don't have to be an expert in anything to wear a t-shirt of it. But I do remember way years ago talking to a guy who was wearing an Incredible Hulk t-shirt. And then he's like, no, I don't really know anything about the Hulk. I just,
See, that's weird. I would never tell the guy he's an idiot or anything. But in my mind, I would be thinking, bit strange.
Yeah, so I personally, I only wear T-shirts of things that I have at least seen, or bands I like, or things that I'm interested in. And like, I wouldn't go out, like, if I showed up in like a T-shirt of the wrestler Sting, John, you might arch an eyebrow, and rightfully so, and like, but you're not into Sting. And I was like, no, but I just like, again though, and the thing is, I could just say I just like the shirt, and to be fair, that is a valid thing. It
is. Yeah. It wouldn't stop it being a little bit strange, but you're not like a prick or anything.
But no, I fully accepted that. Yeah, Dexy's gone. He's thrown out all his dungarees. He's thrown out all his Jan Hammer, suits and stuff he was wearing. And yeah, now he's like, yeah, I went out. He figured out that he could keep the flat caps. Like, no, the guy from AC/DC wears that. I think I'm okay.
That's his way around it. Yeah. Because he's a hat guy. He doesn't want to take it off.
And then he just went into like, the YMCA, like the lost and found bin, and was like, oh no, this is cool, right? So,
I mean, it's a good look. It's a style. He's got a thing going.
I mean, if I saw a guy out looking like this, more so than anybody else in Jeff's crew. Like there was, Kid Rock looking guy. If I saw him in the street, I'd be like, yeah, not my forte, not quite my tempo. But if I saw, Dexy's looking like this, I'm like, yeah, it's cool. It's a cool look,
Agreed. And he's pulling it off, even if he is trying.
And I have to say, like, we've talked about Coors and in this movie before. So of course, I think we determined that there was Coors were poured over Dragon Sound's heads.
Yeah.
During Dexy's first confrontation with them, when they didn't know who he was and why he was doing what he was doing. But I'm guessing maybe he's got like maybe he had a crate or something in the house, because now Jeff's drinking his Coors. But it took time for us to like discern that it was Coors they were drinking in that scene.
Opposite here.
And Jeff now, this is like, it almost like I've got it frozen on that moment.
Same, yeah.
And it just looks like it's from a Diet Coke ad or something.
Because he's got it angled so perfectly that you can read every word of that. Coors Light.
And he's holding it in a certain like the way he's even grasping it in his hand is to make sure no fingers are over the words or anything. And he's, as you said, like angled it in a certain way. Like no one drinks like this.
No.
The way he's doing it is just like, it's a bit too high and he's having to tilt his, it's no.
Well, again, they do this in Wayne's World, don't they? When he's doing those pretend, like, he's like advertising products to the screen, like Pepsi. He's like, it's the choice of a new generation.
It's sometimes people just do things to be accepted. And that's just sad. I can't talk about this. It's giving me such a headache.
Oh,
it takes two of these.
Fucking brilliant!
Little,
I love it.
Yellow, different.
Doesn't he have Pizza Hut as well? There's all kinds of things. And there's some shoes that he's got on. There's God, yeah.
Well, we're going back to Pizza Hut. We were there 2 weeks ago, and now we're going back again.
Everything's connected. And to connect it as well with, we accidentally got sad about Phil Collins. We're talking about Wayne's World all the time. Dana Carvey's son just died.
Oh, I didn't know.
He was like 32 or something.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Oh, that's a bummer.
Let's bring the misery to the listeners again. There you go.
But then, so we got the little shot there of Jeff's knockoff, the unbearded Jeff, the guy who stole his wardrobe. I think he's pouring, and also his Jeff knockoff, he's got all these tears down the back too. I don't know, that's a little try hard, I think, like, unless he himself was like cat o' nine-tailed or something to get into the gang. It feels weird that you'd have a thing that it's that torn up.
He's a punk,
Yeah. I did recently see someone too with like a woman in like her mid-20s, and like the jeans were like, they might as well have just been shorts. Because
I've seen these. They're ripped jeans, but they're so ripped. There's basically no jean.
It's just basically like a thread up the back.
Yeah,
connecting like the the cuff at the bottom, to the just above, like, or just beneath, like where the butt would start.
Where does the butt start?
That just looks like that'd be even a pain in the ass to put that in the wash machine, because you'd be worried they're gonna break the fabric in them, so like non-existent. So it's like no, you put that on a heavy wash, that it's just gonna disintegrate basically.
That's one of the reasons I don't wear a lot of punky rip clothes. Is washing them's a fucking nightmare. It's a nightmare because you think, oh well, it'll degrade, but that'll be cool. That'll add to it. No, it doesn't degrade in a good way. It just fucks it up.
I think I mentioned this on the show before, but I did go through a brief ripped jean phase in my late teens, and I think even when I was wearing them, I knew I was like, nah, this isn't for me. But like,
But you tried it. That's what's important. You know?
Yeah, that's I admire it in other people. There's certain people who pull off a good ripped jean. I'm just not one of them. Like, I'm no Axl Rose.
If only you were. I would be hosting the podcast with that legend. Let's get rid of you.
This next week's Axl Rose is here instead.
Welcome to Miami.
It's just like, I've never even seen the movie. What are we talking about? Although some people who are experts in Miami Connection was like, these idiots don't know they can barely remember what happens in the next scene, for Christ's sake.
Hey, I don't think anyone can. Don't worry. I don't think the makers of the movie would.
That'd be the thing, like YK Kim, when he saw it screened like 25 years later, was watching it going, this is the movie I made. Oh, wow, I don't remember any of this.
Oh, got selective memory loss. There's something we haven't done as well. We haven't had another drink. Tom's topless as well.
Oh,
such fun drinks lately. Yay. Tom's topless, getting the shit kicked out of him. Have a drink.
Clearly, it must be a little bit cold, though, because Floyd there is, he's happed up. He's put on, it almost feels like it's multiple layers. He's put on like a white jumper and a little black thing. Unless it's a black hoodie with white sleeves. But it feels like he's wearing multiple layers there, because it's like, this is cold out. Going out there, like, it's Miami, but hey, it gets cold in the desert.
Oh,
when the nighttime hits, so
I reckon it gets chilly. Like a few of them have put on, some things. I mean, Vader's got a nice. Is that a jumper or is it a long sleeve t-shirt? I can't really tell, but he's gone with the layers.
Yeah.
So there's a good few extra things added.
Let's try to discern what's written down the side of Vader's arm there, but nah, I don't know if it means any. I don't know if it's even a language. I think it's just like it's a designer, whatever,
Yeah, I had trouble reading that. Let's see if I can get it on air. No, no, I can't make that out. It's clearly some sort of a brand because there's a brand on the left breast.
It's but then I think it might just be generic. Oh, it was a company that folded in the 80s at some point, But,
yeah, it's probably like something really cool and hip at the time.
But then the real shocker is like even though he came in humiliating himself, Dexy's wanted him and like with the stupidest deal ever of like if you get me my job that I got fired from and then got my ass kicked by the club owner.
I'm still not over that, can I just say?
Yeah, it's like this guy didn't just fire me. I tried to fight him, and then he kicked the crap out of me. And then I tried to fight the people who replaced me, and then they kicked the crap out of me. But if you get me my job back, even though, like, the guy can still just say no to you as well, you can have all my money for the rest of my life. Somehow, this has impressed a lady enough that she's draped all over Dexy's here.
Yeah.
She is into him, but to be fair, it is a good look. But
we know he's a fucking dweeb.
Yeah. Or maybe she's been blindsided by the whole the Kill 'Em All T-shirt. She's like, oh, he's like a new man. He's a
badass.
I get maybe she just wasn't there that day when he came into the gym. But
then again, can anyone truly look badass drinking a light beer? Even Jeff, come on.
I guess maybe maybe that's why he's sitting like sort of simmering because he's like this guy like Dexy's like no I'll take care of the drinks and then he showed up with a crate of Coors and he's like
it's like the Godfather, you come to me at my base with light beer
on the day of my Angelo's crucifixion.
the Passion of the Oates.
There you go, that's an episode title right there. But it seems like not only is he drinking light beer, it seems like he's like off his head on it. Like I don't know if it's supposed to be that he's really bored or he's really drunk because he's doing his eye roll sort of thing. Yeah. It looks like he's really out of it. But it could be again the jokes don't work because you can't tell what they're going for. It's like is it that he's drunk or is it that he's bored? Like what are you doing for here?
He looks bored, but I think you're right with the other option. I think it's him trying to act drunk. And you could maybe argue he looks high, but there's no allusion to drugs other than they deal drugs. Like, none of them seem to take drugs, these guys, do they? That we see.
No, but I imagine, like, Kid Rock looks like he'd be a guy who would...
Yeah. And I think Jeff partakes a little bit. For recreation, though. Not addiction,
Oh, but I don't know. I don't know with Jeff. Like, drinker, sure, but like, I don't know. He kind of has that, that kind of aggressive. My body is a temple vibe from him.
He could go
as
that
well.
way. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'm going with because he looks a bit like an 80s wrestler, and they're all on coke. So that's the vibe I'm getting. Maybe because he does sometimes flip his personality. He gets very angry, doesn't he?
Yeah, but I took his anger to be all genuine, like much like another Metallica album. He is Saint Anger.
Oh, everyone's favorite Metallica album. It's not the one that everyone despises at all.
I think that's the thing of because I've never been big on Metallica, and I think it's because around the time where everyone I knew was getting into Metallica is when Saint Anger came out.
Yes,
so
same.
You had the double whammy of that, and then the Some Kind of Monster movie, where they just come across as like the worst guys in the world.
And when you learn about them, you realize, that was like the worst part of their career. And it's like, okay, yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, I think like in retrospect is like it was the album. Saint Anger is just basically an album they made to keep them together as a band until they could actually like make a proper album. Really, like they just needed a project to work on until like they got their kind of flow going again.
And metal has become cool. Obviously a bit softer than what they do, but they're like, oh well, we need to release something. We've got to get in on this. Okay, fine.
And so you guys, for that one song is like, my lifestyle determines my death style. My lifestyle. It's just that line over and over and over again. And then he goes like James Hetfield goes into like different tones that are like, you can't reach that tone, man. I think he's really gone into because he always at least sounds kind of like Metallica-esque and cool.
With his like...
Yeah. But then eventually he reaches a point of like... It's like, no, man, you can't do it. You can't do it. Like, you're not Axl Rose, You can't screech like that.
Axl Rose can't.
Yeah.
Apparently. I'm being a bit mean there, but...
Yeah, but I saw that Glastonbury performance and it was like, well, he ain't got it anymore. But
that's the only problem with that kind of singing, really, is I don't think you can sustain it.
No, you can't. You can't at all. Like I've seen, like even like Duran, even like them trying to do like Notorious. That has quite high, like not a bit about it.
Yeah,
and like I can do it there because I'm only doing like a little low, like a minor. If you had to go out and belt that on stage, at age 56. It's like, ain't happening. So I've seen them do it, and it's been in much lower keys and stuff.
Sensible. They're working around it.
Of course, yeah, famously in Dawkins, of course, who did Dream Warriors for Nightmare on Elm Street 3. If you watch the documentary about the making of that, like the lead singer of Dawkins going like, yeah, it's a big problem because it's by far our most popular song, and I cannot sing it anymore. So people come up. Every time we do a signing or anything at a record store, it's always Dream Warriors is the thing I'm getting handed to sign.
What do you do though? Because do you lower it? Because then people will be upset. Because half of the fun of that song is that it's like Dream Warrior.
Yeah. I guess it's the same thing. Robert Plant, his whole thing was like, what? Like how big he could go with this like falsetto operatic voice.
Yeah.
And like now he's like a shell of a man. He still sings, but he can't do that anymore.
You don't get a lot of that voice anymore, do you? I think the only one I can think of in the mainstream at the moment is that. Well, they're not even in the mainstream right now. That band, Greta Van Fleet.
Yeah. This is Led Zeppelin ripoff band. Yeah. Really, like I guess some people say they're paying it an homage. It's like no, but they sound like exactly like them. Like
they've started changing the sound a little bit now, which I think they've done it the right way around. Because when they started, they were really young. Yeah, they're just young kids. They obviously were inspired by Led Zeppelin, and they're like, well, we want to make music like that. You're like, okay, cool, that's fine. But they seem to have added other elements in the newer album, and it's like, okay, this is what you do. You grow.
Yeah.
Change a little. Because if you just kept making Led Zeppelin records, that'd be pointless.
And the thing is, you'll get then a big contingent of the fans, and they'll be like, well, why are they changing things? They sound like good. So guys I've only over the years, like, the more Paramore changes, the more I'm like, oh, actually, no, they're getting good now. Like, some of their songs actually sound pretty good. And then if you, like, look into them at all, everyone's like, why don't they sound like they sounded back in 2005?
They were just one generic, like, emo rock.
Yeah. It's because they sound like shit in 2005. Now they sound good. Like, wait. But no, headcanon as well here that Dexy's side chick the way she's looking at him, because she's into him. But like, I'm thinking he's feigning this sleepy drunkenness because this is the moment where he thinks like, oh, I'm in. And then she just whispered in his ear, name three albums by Metallica. Name 3 songs by Metallica.
Like, oh, shit. What am I going to do?
And he's like, oh, I'm really sleepy, babe.
He's got them written on his palm. You can have a little look down. Ride the Lightning. Actually, that wouldn't have been out yet by that point.
I think about Ride the Lightning's like 84.
I thought it would have been after this. But yeah, it could be.
Yeah.
Could be. I'm not a big... I don't dislike them, but I'm not really a metal person, so I don't know.
Yeah, no, I think my brother was, so I kind of got a vague passing knowledge of a lot of it. But
what's that one?
Yeah, you might be also like, I really like that Run to the Hills. And then she's like, wait a minute.
How dare you?
And she tears off the t-shirt and he's still got his like lame Miami Vice suit underneath. He's like, wait, you're not a metalhead, you're a fraud.
He gets found out and he gets put up there with Tom.
And it's like, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, he would take it out on Dragon Sound again. It's their fault that I'm in this position. You sons of bitches.
Or as they're referred to at the end of the minute, Dragon Butt. The badass Dragon Butts.
Oh my God. Right. I think I laughed so hard at that. I didn't even write it down. I was just like, how can I write that down?
And even before then, there's a very precarious kiss going on at one point as well. Not kiss the band. But yeah, somebody necking with some lady.
I wrote that exact word. I wrote to necking.
Yeah. Oh, because they're getting into it. Yeah. They're like, this ain't kissing, this is necking. And like the way he's got his like that chorus can, you was, but how much is in it? Because it's like the way his hands tilting back and forth. Like, you're gonna spill it all over yourself, man. What are you doing?
Maybe they're into that. Maybe he's pouring it all down himself, and she'll lick it off.
Oh, could be. Suck it out of his the fabric of his his t-shirt or something.
Sexy. Great, isn't it, when people do that?
I'm also noticing too that I thought they were all holding metal poles. Like Jeff or Dexy had a metal pole.
I know what you're going to say.
He looks like he's got like an outright gun there.
Yeah, I had not seen this until I paused it just now. 1 second before you started that sentence. That's like a fucking shotgun or something.
Yeah, and I thought for a second that Dexy had like, that could be a gun, but I think because the rest of them have just got poles, that must be what it is. But like, no, maybe some of them are in there packing heat.
I think so. You wouldn't trust Vader with a shotgun.
No.
Give him a stick.
Unless you just he would he'd probably do more damage to himself than anybody else, quite frankly. But.
Yeah. He would just fire it willy-nilly as well. He'd be killing people left and right, and it's like, for God's sake, Vader.
But I gotta say though, because like the fact that it's a weird thing that's, to me, maybe because we've been ripping into him so much, but like the fact that Dexy's even got himself positioned next to Jeff. It's like, that's quite a high position for a guy who's a complete loser who came crawling on his hands and knees to be like, you think he would be like, no, you go up, you're just one of the minions, go and bang the poles with the rest of these assholes. But in fact, he gets a seat and a concubine. And I kind of like, he's reaping all the rewards of being with Jeff. It's odd.
It's weird. It is implying that he's now like his right-hand man.
Yeah.
Which is weird.
Like it's the blending of these two great gangs. It's like, it's like, no, you came to him with nothing. Like, you don't deserve to have this level of dignity, man. Let's get out there.
It's odd. It is, though, because he seems to have moved up the ranks very quickly, and I don't know why.
Yeah, just by being like, well, I brought like 3 guys with me, right?
And some beer. And cool T-shirts for everyone.
Oh, yeah, maybe he bought them in bulk.
Yeah.
And again, he just didn't realize. He's like, oh yeah, it's to encourage everyone to kill them all. I was like, yeah, but like, and then the other was like, we don't like Metallica here, man. We're a maiden gang. Get out of here.
Yeah, but maybe he just thought, yeah, kill them all. Yeah, Dragon Sound, kill them all.
But yeah. So then we the minute kind of we get the illusion to someone's on their way. People skating around here, there, and everywhere. As if, they're coming, we got company, all that business. And that's where the minute ends.
Yeah. Although there is one thing, actually, I forgot to talk about. I think you started talking about it, and then we went off on something else. There is a bit where they go up to Tom and they shove something in his mouth.
Yeah, I thought they were giving him a drink.
That's what I thought. Because weirdly, people in these movies, like the bad guys, the bullies and stuff, they find it funny to force drink down someone's throat. Like, it's like, that's not really funny, but okay.
It works sometimes, but not beer, because beer is fairly, like, inane. Like, you obviously not, you get beautiful tasting beers and stuff, but, like, it would make me think of the end of Get Carter with Michael Caine. And I remember I didn't get it when I first saw it. I was in my early teens. Because he chases down the guy he's looking to, get revenge on finally. And he's on a quarry, much like themselves here. And he, like, gets out a bottle of gin and makes him down the gin. All in, the whole bottle in one go. And I was just like, how's that revenge? And it's only then years later when you have gin and you realize, like, any spirit, how harsh they can be. That they're like, oh no, to make someone down an entire bottle of a spirit in one go is torturous. Like,
but as a kid, again, you would probably think, oh, that sounds cool.
Yeah. Okay, oh man, you're just getting them drunk. That's awesome. It's only then years later you're like, no, that is a form of torture, is to make someone down a harsh, like acidic, bitter liquid and stuff. But if they just pour beer down someone's throat, it's just like, I guess it's just part of, like, the mockery of it and stuff.
Yeah, and I think it's the forced aspect. Like, you won't be able to breathe properly. You'll be choking, kind of.
Yeah. And maybe that's like, we're not going to drink all this crap Coors.
We've got to get rid of it somehow, yeah.
We'll use it for this and, freaking put one on his head and use it for target practice or something, that kind of
That's probably it. They're like, well, we can't throw it away because it'll upset Jeff because he's now his best mate. So if we throw it away, we're going to get told off. So, this is a nice way to dispose of it all.
Jeff's also hoping for corporate sponsorship from Coors. That's why he's, brandishing it in that fashion to, like, product placement within the gang and everything as well.
I get the impression YK Kim was going for that. So can we get Coors on board?
But, like, the thing with the way, like, Joan Crawford, she was married to, like, the CEO of Pepsi.
Yeah.
And so, like, even after that marriage, every, like, set she was on had to have Pepsi vending machines everywhere.
Amazing.
And Pepsi had to be worked into all the movies and stuff. And so,
I fucking love that.
You find out, like, oh, YK Kim is married to, like, the CEO of Coors. Like, that's his wife.
Oh, God. Please let that be true.
That's why that's where the money for the the dojo's doing terribly. Like, no one ever signs up for his classes. It's like all the money for this came from Coors. Like, it was his wife. Like, oh yeah, go make a Star War.
Fucking yes. We've uncovered the truth here, listeners.
I should also correct myself again. But, like, at the end we do get a little thing, because I thought that was it was part of Jeff's gang coming to say, like, hey, someone's coming. That is, in fact, Mark and co.
Yes, you do see him sort of crouched and sneaking along.
Yeah, just, doing classic ninja-esque behavior. Yeah. Although I guess it's par for the course with this movie, where we're talking about, like, the bright white ninja at the very, very start. And Mark showing up in his loud as friggin' hell red t-shirt that you would see him a mile away in. But I guess he's like, I'm not a ninja. I just do taekwondo. Don't be an asshole.
It's totally different thing. Totally different.
But yeah. So you get these guys going in for the rescue.
I'm excited. They're on the scene. They're here for their boy.
Yeah.
Will they get him? Listeners, tune in next time.
Yeah. And then I think it feels like, this is, like, near the climax. Like, no, this isn't the climax of the movie. There's still, like, another 30 minutes to go.
Yeah, because this movie bucks trends, It goes against the grain.
Yeah. And plus I just remember then, like, oh no, the climax is all... Oh, of course, Yoshido's not even here yet, so...
Exactly. Gotta have that showdown, baby. Yeah. Which we will get to, but should we break the connection?
I believe we should.
We shall indeed. There you go. It's broken.
I think you broke something else, but it doesn't sound there.
I broke my gut. Join us again in 1 week, as usual. And get in touch with us on Facebook at Miami Minutes Taekwondo Orphanage. Twitter at Miami Minutes, although I might abandon Twitter soon, to be perfectly honest. Like, all the advertisers are abandoning it as we speak.
I mean, like, I too, because I've been on... our other show, Batman, is on Twitter, and I've like, the only notifications we get on there now is all from bots.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because we're between seasons, but it's just like, yeah, because everybody's off to it. No one's using it anymore.
Yeah,
so all the people we used to interact with, they're not there. Like, you message them, they don't even message you back because they're like, oh, no, I don't use my Twitter anymore. You had to get me on any of the other sites.
Literally, use any other, just not that one. but both of us will get notifications and things for any of our shows. So, for now, we're as you hear this, we are still on there. And yeah, Instagram, all of the usual. And yes, in 1 week, we'll be back with a minute 63 of Miami Minutes. Salami!
Listen to me!